Good evening all and welcome to another video on All Hail the Ale. Tonight we are having a bit of fun. We're not doing a regular run-of-the-mill review, no. I'm doing a bit of a battle between some of my favourite supermarket New England IPAs. Why? Well, I find a lot of them I find absolutely fantastic and I cannot differentiate them on the scores. Both of the beers that we're going to feature tonight have scored a full 5 out of 5 from me on Untapped. I know they are quite different across the board in terms of their scores, and you know, everyone finds them slightly different, but I enjoyed them both to the same degree. But now it's come to the point where I need to separate them and see which of the two is king. Which ones are we talking about? Well, we are starting with this one. It is the Brewdog and Cloudwater New England IPA that weighs in at 6.8%. It's available in your local Tesco for £3 a can and it's 440ml. And we are comparing it to this one. It is Newer World from Northern Monk. It's available in your local Morrisons for £3 a can also, funnily enough, for the 440ml. And it weighs in slightly higher at 7.4% ABV. So, why am I doing it? Well, like I say, I just want to separate the two. You know, they've got the same score for me on Untapped, but I just want to just kind of see which one of the two just pips the other to the post for me, because let's be honest, you know, 4.75 to 5, you know, they both deserved top marks, but you know, when it comes to separating the creme de la creme, you know, there's not enough nuance on Untapped to do that. So we're going to do it now, just for fun. So let's start with the Newer World. What does it say about it? Well, it says it's hazy, juicy and tropical, which is exactly what we expect from a good New England IPA. And the New England IPA from Brewdog and Cloudwater doesn't really say a lot. It just says New England meets old in this hopped up superpower of a beer. Our retuned juicy IPA packs more fruit than the state of Florida. So yeah, it's juiced up and ready to roll according to the blurb on the can. So we're going to do a bit of a contrast. We're going to check out the body of the beers. We're going to check out like the appearance of the beers. We're going to check out the aromas. And we're going to check out the taste, most importantly of all, and just kind of see which one wins. We're going to do a real simple, this one wins, that one wins, and it gets a point for each kind of thing, attribute, if you will, that we're going to cover. So we're going to pour the Brewdog first, Brewdog Cloudwater, into a Brewdog glass. So the pour is as such. A little bit hazy. Let's see if we can get a bit ahead on that. There we are. So we have a bit of haze. It's clearly unfiltered for the most part. There are some little particulates going through the beer. We've kind of got a nice golden colour. Not as hazy as it has been. I will say that I've had this particular beer a lot hazier than this. We've got a white head that's relatively tight and compact, and we've probably got just under 2 fingers worth on top of the glass there. So that's that one, and the Newer World we're going to, funnily enough, pour into a Northern Monk glass. So pop the top and pour into the Northern Monk glass. The pour is golden. See if we can get a bit of head going. And straight away, you can tell that is a little bit more hazy. So we've got Northern Monk, Brewdog. You know, so it's difficult to tell without a white background behind me. They look quite similar, but the Brewdog, this one in my right hand, is slightly paler in colour, less hazy. The head is dissipating fairly quickly. You know, heads are similar in consistency, relatively tight, white and compact. But on appearance, it's got to be the Northern Monk wins. So they look good, both of them, don't get me wrong. But looks wise, this one is more appealing to the eye. A little bit hazy, a little bit murkier, and just generally, in my opinion, more fitting to the style as I know it. So let's pop 2 down and pick one up. We're going to go for the Brewdog. We're going to go for a whiff. Straight away, big notes of pineapple, bit of mango, little bit, tiniest bit of resin on the background. but mostly pineapple, mango, a little bit of orange. All juicy, all tropical. And I think if memory serves, it does give you, in the Brewdog Bible of Bullshit, a bit of a clue. So it's, yeah, notes of soft juicy peach, melon, lime and subtle caramelised pineapple on the palate. It's peach. Do I get peach? Maybe. Melon? I'm not a big fan of melon, so I go out of my way to avoid it. Lime? No, I really don't get lime. But yeah, I absolutely get the pineapple they refer to. So let's have a whiff of the Northern Monk. Slightly more subtle. There's more of an emphasis on the mango notes. There is pineapple, but it's really not in the foreground like it is with the Brewdog beer. Slightly sort of like overripe stone fruit as well. That kind of really creamy sort of aroma that's coming through there. I mean, it's a toss-up on this one. If you like pineapple, you're going to prefer the Brewdog. If you like your mango and overripe stone fruit, you're really going to like the Northern Monk. They're two different kettles of fish, very similar in the fact that they're tropical. It's just really a case of which fruit do you prefer on the nose. Which one do I prefer? I've got to say, I'm slightly siding with the creamier notes from the Northern Monk, so that's 2-0 on that front. So let's put down the Monk, and we're going to give the Brewdog beer the first taste, and we're going to go for the body first of all. So which one wins on the body? It's medium. It's got quite a soft mouthfeel to it. Yeah, it's decent. You know, it's not thin, it's not thick, it's somewhere in the middle, and it's probably about right. Now onto the Northern Monk. This one is thicker. It's almost, you've got like sucking custard into your mouth. It's not literally, don't get me wrong, but in comparison, it's like the difference between water and custard. This is a lot thicker than the Brewdog. Slightly more velvety on the mouthfeel. A little tiny bit of effervescence that kind of contributes to that overall experience. Go back to the Brewdog for a sec. Yeah, mouthfeel is similar on both, but in terms of body, the Northern Monk wins again. So it's 3-0 so far to the Monk. So we are now going to go for the taste, but we're going to kind of switch it. No, we're not going to switch it around. We're going to keep it consistent. We're going to go the Brewdog first again. So for the flavours, we got the aromas, you know, big pineapple and a little bit of mango, a bit of orange in there as well. Yes, I did agree with the, what did I agree with? I can't see, I haven't got my specs on. Yeah, the peach, yeah, it's there. So which one do I prefer? Again, it's not about does it stay true to the brief, which do I prefer? There's a slight sharpness, not in a big way. The flavours don't necessarily correspond accurately. There's no real correlation to the aroma. There is more of an emphasis on that kind of slightly spikier tropical flavours. Think really fresh, almost underripe kind of flavours on the Brewdog beer. It's sweet, it's juicy, it's tasty. There is very, very subtle bitterness on the back end there before you go into a slightly dry finish. So, on to the Monk. With the Northern Monk beer, you've got a slightly flatter sort of flavour profile, in as much as you've not got a dominant flavour, you've not got anything that really stands out and sort of shouts any higher than the other. I realise that's what dominant means, but there is a little bit more of the alcohol coming through on the Northern Monk than there is the Brewdog, but it's not got that sharpness, that slight kind of passion fruit-esque kind of sharpness, tartness, if you will, that the Brewdog has got. And this one really is down to kind of real preference. I'm going to go for another taste of the Brewdog, just as a reminder. That one, you know, it's, in my opinion, it's on as even on that one. You know, they both taste different. I like them both a lot. They've both got good qualities about them. They're both heavily juicy, heavily tropical. It's just one is a little bit more kind of creamy and sort of that way inclined, and the other one is slightly spikier, sharper, a little bit more tart. It's personal preference. I like them both about even, so we're still at 3-0. We've got one final kind of little sub-challenge, if you will. It's a chance for the Brewdog to claw one back. We're going for the finish. Which kind of finish do I prefer? You know, I'm going to set the stall out. I like my finishes long, bitter, and really, really hoppy. I know I'm not going to get that with a New England IPA. That's just not their bag whatsoever. So we're just going to go in and see which we prefer. So in with the Brewdog first of all. Okay, so once you've swallowed that lovely mouthful of beer, you are left with a little bit of tropical kind of sweetness on the tongue. It is dry. There is quite a bit of dryness on that finish, and it's something you either like or you don't. I like a dry finish on a beer. You know, it just appeals. It's a bit like having a dry white wine or a really dry cider. It's just something I like. And yet that sweetness kind of stays with you for the duration. You get a little bit of a kind of, imagine sucking on a piece of orange and it kind of just mellows out and peters out to something kind of reminiscent of what you had, but not really there for too long. It's a bit like juicy fruit in that sense. It goes quite quickly after that kind of initial burst of flavour, and it's just a really pleasant finish. So, the Northern Monk Newer World. Can't get over how nice that tastes. So, on the finish of this one, it's more prominent. The finish is punchier to start with. You know, those tropical flavours sit with you. If anything, the flavour is enhanced on the finish than it is over the mouthful of beer that you would perhaps sip and then just thoroughly enjoy. You get no real dryness. It's quite sweet. You get just a long burst of tropical flavours. You get some, it's like I say, mango in there, and there's lots of that. You've got lots of overripe stone fruit. It's just a general delight all the way through. So yeah, you've got a bigger, punchier, longer finish on the Northern Monk than you have the Brewdog. I like the dryness of the Brewdog, but I love the intensity of the flavour of the Northern Monk Newer World that little bit more. So out of a potential 5 points, it is 4 points to Newer World, with honours even on the final one, and which leaves, unfortunately, 0 points for the Brewdog and Cloudwater New England IPA. And I want to emphasise, I'm not saying that the Brewdog Cloudwater collaboration is bad. It really isn't. It's an excellent beer, otherwise I wouldn't have given it the top marks that I did on Untapped. I know some people disagree in that sense. I mean, if I remember rightly, on average, it's got a score of, hang on, let's call it up quickly. So the Newer World, on average, has got from across the world 3.87, and the Brewdog Cloudwater collab has got an overall of 4.02 on Untapped. So across the board, people generally prefer the Brewdog. Now, you know, everyone's different. Everyone enjoys beers in a different way. Everyone likes slightly different attributes. And hopefully this video has kind of given you a bit of a clue as to the differences between the two beers and might help you make an educated decision where you're spending your hard-earned money in whichever supermarket you might go shopping to, or indeed direct to the brewery, because I'm pretty sure both of these are available direct from Brewdog and from Northern Monk. So what can we conclude from this? I prefer the Northern Monk Newer World. It's thicker, it's juicier, it's creamier than its counterpart, which is the New England IPA from Brewdog and Cloudwater. But let's be honest, you won't go wrong with either beer if you spend your hard-earned cash on them. And if you do go wrong with them, then just try another one. You know, it sometimes takes a little while to get accustomed to the subtleties that each beer gives. Now, on that note, I am waffling, so I'm going to say we're at the point in the video where down there are some buttons. You know exactly what to do with them. You've got your like, comment, dislike, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments section if you've tried either of the beers that we featured tonight. Let me know what you think of them. And on that note, I'm going to enjoy the rest of these beers, get the video uploaded for your viewing pleasure, and I will catch you again soon for another video. Bye.